You're listening to Cosmic Cousins Soul-Centered Astrology for grounding that ass from all the new age sass. I am your host, Jeff Henshaw. Season 7 of Cosmic Cousins is a bi-monthly astrology offering. It's released every new and full moon, and it's dedicated to honoring the interconnectedness of our universal family through embodied health, self-discovery, and deeper learning. Hey, Cosmic Cousins. We are coming out of this huge Capricorn clear out. Last time we gathered for the Cancer full moon, we were talking about the stellium action of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction with Mercury and Sun all in Capricorn. And so here at this Aquarius New Moon, we're having an Aquarius reawakening. That Capricorn energy that we experienced and have been experiencing is the most Capricorn energy that we will ever experience during our incarnation here on this planet. So we've made it through this heavy, sobering, responsible energy of Capricorn, that weight. And now with this Aquarius New Moon, we're going to really feel a shift. And over the next few decades, we'll be shifting more into Aquarian energy. So welcome to the Aquarius New Moon podcast episode. I know, I hope, I inspire. These are the phrases we're working with for this Aquarius New Moon. I know, I hope, I inspire. For me right now, I'm having a really Aquarius season. It's like Aquarius season on crack right now. I'm having tons of new downloads to radically transform and expand my life as I know it, which is as exciting as it is uncomfortable. So we can think of the Fool card in the tarot as one of the cards that is connected to Aquarius. The Fool in the tarot is Uranus. So this expansion, the leaping off of a cliff into the unknown realms, we might be feeling into this Aquarius season. How are you being the Fool right now? And so the Fool is equally as expansive as it is terrifying. So just breathing into whatever fear the new expansion in your life is bringing. And maybe it's expanding into realms that are darker or scarier for you. Maybe you're touching into parts of you that you didn't even know you had access to. So breathing into all of that expanse, I'm going to share with you, I've had tons of synchronicities this Aquarius season, repeating numbers. I've had gifts from others in the community. I have a lot of little stories and anecdotes to share with you today about Aquarius and Aquarian energy, and I think it's quite an alignment because I'm an Aquarius sun with an Aquarius rising, so I dwell here in this starry cosmic energy. I think one of them, it happened on the first day of Aquarius season where I was hanging out with a group of friends. Aquarius is associated with friend groups. And at some point in the night, they had decided that they wanted to go to a bar, but I'm not really feeling into bar energy right now. This is something that's also important about Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius, got Aquarius sun, moon, rising, or any planets in Aquarius in your chart, or for all of us during Aquarius season, it's really important to be mindful of the groups of energy of people that you surround yourself with. What friendships do you hold in your life, and are they elevating you to the expansion of your fullest potential? So if you go to a bar, for instance, and there's lots of drinking and partying, and that's not in the vibration that you're at right now, Aquarian energy can be very sensitive to that because Aquarius is connected to the group mind. And so Aquarius then might distance themselves, might appear to seem a bit aloof or cold or like the outsider. This can be Aquarius, but Aquarius also longs to connect with everyone, so Aquarius can exhaust themselves in an attempt to be all things to all people. Aquarius holds the weight of the world. It is a humanitarian sign. And so Aquarius can tend to leak its energy. And you can think of leaking, it's the Waterbearer is the symbol of Aquarius, leaking its water, its energy to help other people, to help all people, to take other people's interests at heart before their own. This is one side of Aquarius, but as Aquarius learns to grow and evolve, will begin to separate itself from the group to get clarity and perspective, needs the space from the group to realign with their own unique truth, because Aquarius, connected to the group mind, takes on the truth of the group. So it's so important for Aquarius to have space, and you can think Aquarius is connected to outer space, to have space to do that. And so for me, in this scenario, in this moment, I did not feel a part of the group, and I was not feeling open to drinking that night. So I quite literally removed myself from the bar. I didn't have a car, so I couldn't leave, but I didn't want to disturb anyone, so I left the bar. I kind of like ghosted, right? This can be Aquarian, but because of that, I was able to find this beautiful fountain in a courtyard that I sat by for a bit, and I looked up at the starry night sky. Again, Aquarius is the stars in the sky, and then I followed the cosmic trail to this 24-hour ceramic making studio, which I'd never seen a 24-hour one, so they were open because it was later in the night. I went in. There were people in there learning about making bowls, and I started talking to one of the artists there. And after our conversation, she gifted me this beautiful, it's like this iridescent purple and blue bowl. So now I have this new pottery item that, because I allowed myself to remove from the group or the energy that did not feel supportive for me at that time, I followed my heart and was gifted something from another community that might feel more supportive for me. So now I'm looking into actually enrolling into a beginner pottery making class at this studio. And I also have this beautiful bowl, but Aquarius is the water bearer. And so I don't have the bowl with me here right now, but part of my altar, if I were to build one right now, I would fill this bowl up with water, and I would put crystals inside of the bowl, cleansing my crystals. Aquarius is connected to all crystal energy, but particularly amethyst is one that I like to work with for Aquarius. So listen to your heart and follow your own intuition about the vision that you hold for yourself when it comes to community and that which you're wanting to manifest in your life. It is so important for us to be held and uplifted by those around us. We need each other in this time. And so to continue my story, I went back to the bar and I had this magical iridescent bowl, and the people that were still at the bar didn't even notice that I had left, and I just came back with this bowl and I told them the story, and it inspired some of them, not all of them, to also trust in their intuition and to follow their heart, and to also learn about this new cool community. So Aquarius allows us to be foolish. Another way that this energy has been present for me is I took myself to the spa. Aquarius in the tarot is also the star card, soul growth, and I often think of the star as quite literally resetting the nervous system. Aquarius is connected to the nervous system. So I took myself to the spa to honor Aquarius season, and when I got there, I opened my locker, and inside the locker was the Oprah magazine. Oprah is our queen of Aquarius. And so I've got this magazine out here right now. I'm seeing Oprah's bright, shining face. She's got very starry eyes. Aquarius is said to have very cosmic energy. And Oprah's catchphrase is, it's in the back of the book, what I know for sure, right? I know is the Aquarius phrase. So there is this intellectual side to Aquarius. It's connected to groups of energy, of people. We love this. We know this about Oprah. Another little story I have from my Aquarius season is that I am really excited. I'm going to an Aquarius New Moon gathering that's 2 hours outside of LA because I was invited by an internet friend who is in our mystical cosmic community, and we've never met in person before. So I'm going to quite literally be meeting someone off of the internet. Aquarius is the internet for the first time on this Aquarius New Moon. So Aquarius is reminding us that we are all cosmic cousins. And so it's no surprise that this podcast has that name. The title of the podcast is very Aquarian. Aquarian energy is both cosmic and it's connected to living beings. It's the interconnectedness of our universal family. So we're expanding beyond the confines of our current cultural conditioning in this Aquarian energy. So in Capricorn season, Capricorn energy, we realign with our most responsible, practical, public-oriented self. We become more aware of time during Capricorn season. We change into the new year, or in this case, the new decade. And it's the new year as according to the patriarchal calendar, right? There's many different ways to understand time. Like we can use Aries season as the beginning of the year in astrology. But for Capricorn season, it's the beginning of the patriarchal calendar. And so many of us will be more practical this time of year. We will set New Year's resolutions during Capricorn. But then as we head into Aquarius season, February 20th, this is when we can really begin to rebel against the patriarchal calendar. We can rebel against the systems that Capricorn put in place. And so for this Aquarius new moon, which is the first new moon of this year, which makes it also the first new moon of this decade, we get to really realign ourselves with Aquarian values. So we're activating, awakening within us the most cosmic, humanitarian expression of our soul. So where does that live? Where does that dwell within you? And since you're listening to this podcast, it definitely dwells within you somewhere. Astrology is connected to Aquarius. It's the stars in the sky. It's an objective perspective. It's utilizing the power of archetypes, right? So when we're working with Aquariuses really do value and benefit from archetypes and symbols. So when you're talking to an Aquarius, having this more cosmic approach to the conversation can be really helpful. Because with Aquarius, we're expanding out into the cosmos. So I like to call it cosmic air. Aquarius is associated with lightning, it's electricity, it's big gusts of wind that's coming in and clearing things out. So Aquarius is said to be, with all of this cosmic energy, it's said to be the aliens of the zodiac. So it's about the future, it's about technology, it's innovation, science, time travel, the internet, right? This is Aquarius. So anything that makes information available to a wide cross-section of people for free. This is Aquarius. It's about freedom. So we are in the age of Aquarius after all, and here we are. So all of us together listening to this podcast, and whatever else you tune into, it's all available to you for the expansion of your consciousness, which then leads to the expansion of you. And so this is one of the first periods of time, at least according to recorded history, that humans have ever incarnated at this time where we're so interconnected. But we're in the baby stages of this new age. This is a 2,000-year period, and many astrologers believe that the age of Aquarius started in 2012. So it's as much about technology in the future as it is also about the collective, about consciousness expansion. So people holding hands in a circle is a symbol that you might often see for Aquarius. And so as much as we do gather here over the podcast, we might really feel connected. When I have people on the show, that definitely helps too. And I know all of you out there listening, we're all connected in some sort of way, so acknowledging that. But it's also important for us not to live in this distant cosmic energy, but to take these connections, whether it's connections you're making within your own life, in your own mind, in your own process, or actual connections of maybe someone that listens to this show or someone else that you talk to astrology about, and taking those connections and actually making human contact So it's to use the inspiration that you receive from this transmission and to create a ripple effect of healing in the lives of those around you. Keep sharing your truth, right? We're not hoarding information at this time. We all have a right to know. We all have a right to learn, to speak, to communicate, to share our authentic truth. And so it's no surprise Martin Luther King Jr. Day kicks off Aquarius season. This is a very radical, socially progressive, humanitarian time of year. Black History Month is February. Aquarius season, right? It's January 20th through February 18th. So in what ways are you being more inclusive this time of year? So the internet has become such a powerful tool for us because the internet gives us space for freedom of thought, space for expression and connection. But with it, it also can bring up hurt, confusion, or anxiety. So I'd like to play a little thought game with you where you can think of what is your favorite thing about the internet. So I'll give you a moment to just ponder that. What's your favorite thing about the internet? And so for me, this is access to information. The studying of astrology has been made really available to me through the internet by watching YouTube videos, reading people's articles, connecting to you all on Instagram about astrology. That's my favorite thing. It is the information, but also how I can connect to other people who are interested in the same thing. So Aquarius rules over the internet. So your favorite thing about the internet is also a window of opportunity into you more intuitively connecting with the higher vibration of Aquarius and what that might look like and feel like for you. So for me, lots of information, connection with people. This is high vibe Aquarius, right? But then on the flip side, there's always the dark side to archetypes too. So what's your least favorite thing about the internet? So I give you a moment to ponder that. What's your least favorite thing about the internet? And so for me, it is probably connected to a bit of compulsion or obsession around checking my phone or like validation, needing validation, and also probably internet trolls. I mean, the list goes on. I can think of a lot of things that I don't like about the internet. So this is the lower vibration of Aquarius, right? Hearing everyone's thoughts, right? This is collective air, Aquarius. Aquarius is tuned into the group mind. You can think about Oprah. How is Oprah able to reach such a wide audience? She's tuned into the collective mind. And so when you're on your Instagram feed or Facebook feed or whatever it is, if you are on the internet, this is collective mind. You're seeing everyone's thoughts. You're reading them. You're getting inundated with the collective energy. So for Aquarians, it's important to know this. It's also important in the same way that we need to give ourselves space from the internet. We also are utilizing it as a great tool. It's such a gift to have access to a phone with internet on it. This is such a gift. And so we're acknowledging the light side of it, and we're acknowledging the dark side of it. And so at this time, I think this would be a good time for us to go into a little guided meditation for embodied health. So go ahead and bring your awareness to your body and your breath, and we'll transition into that now. Deep inhale, deep exhale, allowing yourself to arrive here to this meditation, thanking yourself for showing up to this practice. And we'll start by breathing into the nervous system. This is the part of the body that Aquarius is connected to. Tuning into the nervous system, sending love to this part of you for all that it does for you. Can also connect to the ankles, This is another part of the body that Aquarius is connected to. You can think the ankles hold the weight of the entire body, the humanitarian part of our body. It's also an eccentric part of the body too. It's said that to wear bells around the ankles will awaken your Aquarian spirit, honoring this part of your body. But for this meditation, I would like for us to connect to every cell of your body. So go ahead and see what that feels like, connecting to every single cell inside of your body. And as you breathe into the thousands, the millions of cells within you, can you notice how they long to come together as one united community? Can you feel their interconnectedness and their ability to come together, to work together for a common cause, which is the manifestation of you? Are there parts of your body that are achy? Are there parts of your body that are storing emotion? And if so, how can the other cells in your body send loving energy to this part of your body? Feel the support of friendship and community that dwells within you. Are there parts of you that are separated? Are there parts of you that are judging other parts of you? All of this is internal dialogue into the Aquarian vibration. And so whatever separation or conflict you might be feeling in your body, right now on this Aquarius New Moon, we're gifted the opportunity to plant a seed of new intention around interconnectedness. So can we bring equilibrium and peace to the entire body? Can you feel the support of all of the cells in your body awakening? And I want you to begin to visualize these different cells as different stars in the sky. Each star in the sky shines brightly as an individual, but they come together as a whole to create the galaxy. So breathing into the stars in your body and breathing into the space that are in between these individual cells. As we connect to this image of the starry night sky, Aquarius is here to bring us new hope, to make a wish. And so for this meditation, let's make 3 wishes. We're going to make 1 wish for you, 1 wish for friendship and community, and the final wish for humanity at large. So we'll start with yourself. Take a deep breath into your individuality. And so what magical parts of yourself are you hiding out of fear, out of rejection? What magical parts of yourself are you hiding out of fear of judgment or punishment? Can you acknowledge these parts of yourself? And so drop in and tenderly love the parts of you that are aching to be set free. So on this Aquarius New Moon, starting with the self, we're realigning yourself with the truth of who you are. So set an intention for authenticity and clarity in your own life, connected to your individuality. And so you can say to yourself, I lovingly allow all parts of myself to be expressed. So breathe that into the body. I lovingly allow all parts of myself to be expressed. And then we'll move on to wish number 2. And so now we're extending out to your friendships, to communities. So we'll first start by acknowledging any pain that you might have in group energy. And just breathe into any friendships that are no longer, any communities that you are a part of that didn't fully see you or support you in your authenticity. acknowledging that pain with your breath, breathing into the parts of the body that you're storing this, and releasing any lingering spiritual debris. And so here we're making space for new expansive connections. So breathe that expanse into your body. Express gratitude for the community networks that support you. Acknowledge the power of collective intention. And feel yourself supported and uplifted by others. What does this feel like in your body to feel supported by the community? And so you can say to yourself, the community supports me and meets my needs. The community supports me and meets my needs. Breathing into all of that. And we'll move on to wish number 3 here on this Aquarius New Moon. So we're going to keep expanding out now to humanity at large. And so you can imagine yourself now orbiting this planet. Maybe you're in a UFO, maybe you are an alien, or maybe you're just gifted this opportunity to hover and observe humanity from a large. And so you can see the earth, its blue energy. And so what tenderness and pain are you holding on to around the state of this planet? You can breathe into any parts of your body where you might be storing this pain. And we'll make a wish for the peace of this planet. And so this is a Sanskrit phrase that I love. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Setting this intention now, we can take a deep inhale together and deep exhale. Happy Aquarius New Moon blessings to all of you. Thank you as always for being here. And so now we'll transition into announcements, and then we have a final conversation with Erin, Aquarian, the full-time witch, coming up after that. So stay tuned. All right, Aquarius, baby. Yes. Okay, so I got some announcements for you. My name is Jeff Henshaw. I am an astrologer. I offer 90-minute deep dive astrology readings, birth chart readings, current transits readings, whatever it is that you would like to know in those 90 minutes, because we actually get to connect over Zoom chat. So if you're interested in deepening your own connection to yourself and to the greater world around you, the greater universe around you, then go to astrologycousins.com and gift yourself a reading. It would be an honor for me to connect with you and hold space for you in your own individual way and pursuit on this astrological journey, this human journey. So astrologycousins.com. That's my announcement that I have, the main one. But I want to share with you a project that we've been working with. I haven't really talked about it on the podcast, but if you're on the Instagram for Cosmic Cousins, you've been probably noticing that since Scorpio season, we've been working on a project called Zodiac Emoji. So it's similar to the Zodiac Queens, where I pick 16 zodiacs. I pick 16 emojis that reflect the astrological archetype of the season that we're in. And then the viewers, the listeners, the followers of the Instagram vote on which emoji most represents that archetype. And so we have crowned our first ever Zodiac emoji for Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. And I'll be releasing those as separate episodes at some point during season 7. So you have that to look forward to. So there'll be some bonus episodes coming out where we'll go deep into those archetypes. But right now we're also voting on, I'll release it actually on the new moon, Aquarius New Moon, which is this Friday, by the way. Friday morning is Aquarius New Moon, but all weekend you can really ride this Aquarian wave. And if you're listening to this right now, you can still ride that Aquarian wave. But anyway, so I'll be releasing the 16 emojis that I think best represents Aquarius. And then you all and the collective and the storyboard on Instagram will vote which emoji is our Cosmic Cousins emoji, which emoji most represents Aquarius. And so I'll be releasing that on the Instagram, but also we'll be releasing them as podcast episodes in the future. So you have that to look forward to too. And if you are interested in supporting the show, you can go to patreon.com/Cosmic Cousins. There's a link in the show notes. And you can leave a monthly contribution to the show. A little bit goes a long way. It helps me to allow this to be a free offering to the public, a very Aquarian offering to you all. So thank you if you are a Patreon supporter and you have been with me throughout the years. I really, really appreciate those ones that have stuck with me and are still here listening. Thank you for being here. Aquarius season reminds me to really honor you all. And so for you, you can always look to your 11th house to understand group energies in your life. And so for me, in my own birth chart, I have Sagittarius rules my 11th house. And in that house, I have Uranus in Sagittarius, Saturn in Sagittarius, and Neptune in Capricorn. The 11th house is said to be the audience. So if you have a podcast, you look to your 11th house to understand who's tuning into your show. And so Sagittarius in the 11th house, people who are wanting to expand the horizons of their world, people who are wanting to learn, right? Sagittarius is connected to philosophy, to religion, to study. And so that's definitely dwelling in these realms here. It means in community, I am traveling, teacher energy. Either I have teachers or I am a teacher in community. That's what that means for me. But Uranus, some of you listening are Uranus. You're radical. You're a socially progressive perception of the new age. Some of you are Saturnian, which means you're really committed. You like to follow the rules. And so it's interesting having Saturn and Uranus, which are both ruling planets of Aquarius. One is committed to rules. The other one wants to break them. And so I feel both of those energies with you all and also within me too. So it's interesting. The 11th house is the groups of people you surround yourself with, but also these parts of yourself that are longing to be expressed in community. But there's also Neptune hanging out here too in the 11th house. So some of you, this is a much more spiritual, mystical connection. Neptune is connected to music, to poetry, to inspiration. And it's in Capricorn. So it's also about public appearance and career. So there's also mystical, career-oriented people in this audience. And so I'm acknowledging you all. I'm wondering which one of these three planets you feel like you fall into in my 11th house. So look to your 11th house over Aquarius season, get to know it. Look to see where Aquarius is living in your chart, where it's living in your heart. And also Aquarius at the 5th degree is where this new moon is activating. What do you have at the 5th degree of Aquarius? For me, that's my rising sign. I'm Aquarius rising at the 5th degree. So this new moon, this is definitely, I'm feeling that so much. This is such a new chapter for me of expansion. I'll share a little bit more about that with you as we go into this season. It's a little bit fresh right now, so I'm just kind of sitting with it all. But also, what do you have at the 5th degree of any of the fixed signs? 5th degree of Leo, 5th degree of Scorpio, and also of Taurus. Look to those placements. Those would be important parts of your chart right now. But anything at the 5th degree, if it's Gemini or Libra, this is a trine energy. If it's a fire sign like Sagittarius or Aries at the 5th degree, this new moon is activating and awakening that. And really, it can be the few degrees before 5, the few degrees after. So this is all parts to look out for. Another announcement update that I would like to share is that we have Black Moon Lilith has been in Pisces for the last 9 months and enters Aries at the end of February, or at the end of January. Coming up this week, Black Moon Lilith is going to shift into into Aries. So this starts a new 9-year cycle around the witch and our chart around our queerness. And so if you're interested in learning about Black Moon Lilith, sign up for the newsletter. I'm going to be sending out information. I have a new offering coming up around Black Moon Lilith. It is my own unique Aquarian radical approach to this archetype and how you can use it if you identify as a queer, LGBTQ, if you connect to the archetype of the witch. Anything that has been repressed by our modern patriarchal society is connected to Black Moon Lilith. So this ranges from earth-based religions like paganism. It can be a man wearing a dress. The themes of Black Moon Lilith are so wide and vast, and I'm excited to share it with you and what this new transit might mean for us. And so stay tuned on Instagram and Twitter, and also for the newsletter to learn more about this Black Moon Lilith offering that's coming up. And I think that's all the announcements I have for you today. Also, astrology readings, but I also offer tarot readings too. You can find out that information at astrologycousins.com. And so now we're going to transition into the last part of our time together, where we are sitting down with Erin Aquarian, the full-time witch. And I'm going to pull up her website now so I can read you a little bit about her. So this is her About Me section. It says, well, first of all, if you go to her website, it's amazing. She's got this, it's just go check it out. But so tarot for healing and empowerment. Erin Aquarian is an intuitive tarot reader and teacher. Erin utilizes the tarot as an accessible, effective tool for healing and empowerment within a traumatic and oppressive world. Over time, working with the tarot can help you completely repattern your inner self and outer life. Erin says that I'll teach you how to do it yourself so you feel empowered in your own life decisions and evolve beyond feeling dependent on external guidance and approval. Erin is a dear friend of mine, is an Aquarius, obviously, Erin Aquarian, and in our conversation, we answer questions from the community about Aquarius. So we talk about Aquarius shadow work. We talk about why Aquarius is considered the alien of the zodiac. We also go into the age of Aquarius too. And so stay tuned for all of that. It's coming up now. Hello.
Hello.
Happy Aquarius season.
Aquarius season.
I'm so excited we're doing this so spontaneously.
I know, me too. Aquarius style.
I'm wearing the Aquarius shirt you got me.
Yes.
And on it, it says, we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder.
Sure do.
Who made this shirt again?
The shop that I used to work at, Psychic Sister, made a series of those with an artist. They make different Zodiac shirts every year with different artists. It's pretty cool.
It's like my fave. I want to show you a few things I have here. I'm recording already, by the way. So we're doing lightning round, 22 minutes.
I know, it's insane.
Aquarius questions sent in by our community through the social medias. All of this is very Aquarian. So I just have
that Uranian insight.
You know, I have a few little totems here that I just want to share with you to kind of get us in the mood here. But 2 days ago, I was in a store getting super glue, or just like a glue stick, because I made a vision board on the first day of Aquarius season, which is right here. So I've got this vision board. But when I was in there, a little TY Beanie Baby mini thing like called out to me. And it's this little guy here, and he changes colors depending on how you run your finger on him. But I opened up his little name tag, and his name's Peyton, and his birthday's January 20th, and it was January 20th. And I was like, I have to get you now. So we have this little Beanie Baby here. So how's Aquarius season going for you? What totems do you have around you that represent Aquarius?
Well, I'm sitting in my bed right now with my dog.
Hey, Norton.
I've got my phone. I've got my tiger tail to help me roll out the muscle tension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely felt like Aquarius season has like activated a lot of kind of nervous system stuff, you know, just kind of like a general feeling of being overloaded since the sun moved into Aquarius.
Yeah.
It felt like going from like a nice little stroll to be like shoved on the Gravitron. I don't know if anyone remembers that ride from the 80s, but it's like the spinning UFO ride where like you're just like the
like you're up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if you throw up in there, it'll just come back in your face, kind of.
That's Aquarius season in a nutshell.
Yeah. So I've been trying to go for a lot of walks at the park that's near me. That's like very much as close to a forest as I can get in a city, and trying to like, get grounded, but it's been hard for me to feel like I'm getting grounded.
Yeah. It's been
in a nutshell.
It's been like super activating, and even just doing this spontaneously, because just for those of you listening, literally we were texting like 15 minutes ago and I was like, hey, Erin, are you up for this spontaneous 22-minute lightning round at 2:22 going to 2:44 time together? And you're like, yes, let's do it. And meanwhile, you've been working on your newsletter. You also just signed up for Twitter for the first time. You joined the cult. And so there's just like a lot of like activation happening right now.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's so many things that I could say about like what I feel is happening and like what I'm experiencing and how things have ramped up over the last couple of years, like for me and like for, you know, I'm observing like people who think and communicate the way that I do. And like, we seem to be finding each other and like, you know, like being able to share and exchange like our worldviews and our values in a way that like tends to be pretty dismissed in our culture, you know? So I don't know. I was just thinking about how you and I connected 2 years ago. Like that's when we really met. And then
literally
like,
we were on the podcast 2 years ago. Also, today is the 22nd that we're recording this. I just realized there's just a lot.
Yeah. And, there's been a lot of that kind of like number magic happening too. Like I checked my newsletter subscribers yesterday and I had 444.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I've been like noticing more repeating numbers too. And also just reflecting back some of what you were saying about, I feel us more connected in the interwebs on Instagram than ever before. And I'm feeling really grateful for the community that is being created. And as you say, going from URL to IRL.
It's my trademarked.
It's your trademark, URL to IRL. And I, this weekend, am going to be meeting up with some people for an Aquarius New Moon gathering that we've been following each other for a while online, and we're meeting for the first time this weekend. Like it's happening more and more. And it feels like, I'm just thinking of the star card in the tarot and the ripples in the water. It feels like there's a ripple effect happening. And just as a reminder to both of us and everyone listening, that the Capricorn stellium that we just moved through is the most Capricorn energy in the sky that we will ever experience in this incarnation. Mm-hmm. Like we made it through all of that Capricorn. It's never going to be that Capricorn heavy again.
Yeah.
Actually going to be shifting a lot more towards Aquarian energy in the next decade. So more to come. And so I think that this little lightning round questionnaire will be really helpful for everyone, because really right now we're all Aquarius rising as a collective, because we're in the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
So we're all Aquarian right now.
Yeah. I just want to also too just like share a little bit about like what I think we are learning and experiencing and evolving through having access to online community, because like it's kind of unfathomable to go into how much we're deprogramming, like from like patriarchy, power over hierarchy culture that like conditions people to like kind of hijack individual free will and then have us all plug our life force into the systems, right? Like to maintain a status quo that ultimately is about benefiting a ruling elite class and maintaining these complex systems of oppression that do so much harm to us and others and the earth and all of the other creatures. Like, so as like Aquarians or anyone who, not just Aquarians, but like we naturally like have to go against our own natural impulses to function and like get by in this society. And it's all just changing so much so fast. And I think that the internet, like people can critique like how much time we might spend online. And I do think that it's important to take space for our nervous systems to like unplug, right? Because we need that. But it's also like, I'm like, this is like all my life I've felt like I didn't have community. I didn't have connections to people that I felt like I could really be myself with, you know? So it seems like we're going through this like very accelerated like socialization, you know, that should have been going on our whole lives, but we live in like a very rigid society that like prescribes our identity constructs to us. We don't get to choose. We don't get to consent. Like, and there's so much trauma and like abuse and dysfunction that we're just sloughing our way through like every day of our lives, right? So it seems like the internet is this wild space where they can't control, like, you know, they can't control it. They're trying to, but I'm so grateful. And I think about that all the time. I was thinking about that in my prayers this morning, just like how lucky I am to have like these connections that how, like, I don't think that anyone in my family like has ever experienced like what I get to, you know, and like the connections, the friendships, the support. It's such a valuable resource. And I think that it's something that we should pay more attention to instead of feeling guilty or like, like we spend too much time there, you know, because we're definitely doing something with this energy of online URL, you know, and we're going to bring it IRL. Just my download for the
and I'm even feeling like an upgrade in the way that you are talking about this since the last time you were on the podcast 2 years ago. Like it's like continually evolving. And also just hearing you talk about that, there's been moments where I have felt out of my mind crazy. And it's been my online friends that have reflected back to me that we're all moving through this energy together. And if I didn't have access to the internet, I might just feel crazy, you know? So, and also both of us are supporting our life through the internet. Like that's how we make our money.
Yeah.
To be here. And it's through the support of the community.
And it makes it possible to be more accessible, right? Because you can have a wider, like, it's like buying in bulk, right? Yep. You know, it's like you can have a wider audience, so your offerings can be less expensive. And it's very Aquarian.
That word audience, right? Audience is Aquarian. It is the energy of the audience. So moments where we are in the audience, this is connecting us to Aquarius. So I think let's go ahead. We could just talk all day, but let's look at some of these questions that were sent in from the followers of the Cosmic Cousins Instagram. Okay, this is from Mel on Wheels.
Hi, Mel on Wheels.
Why are Aquarians called water bearers? What's the history behind this?
Good question. I don't know.
I'm not sure if I know the history per se, but I do know that Aquarius is not a water sign, which is pretty contrarian, first of all, to be like the water bears, but we're an air sign. But we are considered to be baptizers of humanity. So it's baptizing others with new and innovative ways of seeing the world. It's also a humanitarian sign. It makes me think of the star card, which I know you just were writing a new download about the star card. Does it in some way overlap with the Waterbearer?
Well, when I think about, like, because I'm not really someone who studies history of things, like my brain just doesn't work like that. But I think of the Waterbearer, like I used to also get confused before I knew much about astrology that like, is Aquarius a water sign? Because, Waterbearer. But I think about channeling, and I think about the way that my mind works and like receives and processes and communicates information and like in a very like unique Aquarian way, so like when I have space to like freely like express my mind like the way that it naturally is, like I'm comfortable, I guess. So and when I'm in a space where like people's eyes glaze over or, like they're not interested or they don't understand me or they think that I'm like crazy and too all over the place, it's like not comfortable and I just will go be quiet and disassociate. So like the water bear Aquarius, like out of all of the air signs, I don't know if I think Aquarians are like the biggest channelers or whatever, but it just does feel like we all kind of communicate differently, all of their signs. And like the star card really is to me about getting those like those downloads from the cosmic self and like the collective consciousness and like translating those like for the earth, for humanity, for the highest good.
Yeah. Aquarius, I mean, we were saying earlier, since we're in the age of Aquarius, we are all Aquarius rising right now. So actually we all have access to being these channels of cosmic air, as I like to call Aquarius. But for Aquarius sun, this is what gives us a sense of purpose and vitality. It charges us with new life when we're playing that role. Mm-hmm. For Aquarius moon, it would be on a deeper, more intuitive level. Aquarius rising, it's what the person's waking up to within themselves. And so looking at your birth chart to see where Aquarius lives in your chart is going to show you where this energy is going to come through for you. But we all have access to it. But for Aquarius sun, it's like we need that for our life force to be charged. Okay. And the esoteric phrase for Aquarius is waters of life am I poured forth for thirsty men. So that's also connected to the water bearer. Okay. This one is from Stephanie. What shadow work do Aquarius need to work on?
Great question. The first thing that I think is just our judgmentalism of self and others.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm right all the time.
I know is the phrase for Aquarius, after all.
And that when other people don't agree with me, that I feel like the more I do my own work to be the person that I want to be, like last year for me was really just about working with this idea of unconditional love and how to like integrate more of that into like how I move through the world, because we're all at different states of being. And even though we might think that we're right and that our beliefs are like in alignment with humanitarian ideals and whatnot, like, I don't know, like, I guess judgmentalism is one of the shadows that like I feel I struggle most with. especially when I feel like I'm coming up against people who are doing like great harm, you know, to others, like, where it just seems like this is obviously wrong. But I guess there's a part of me internally that knows that I can't know everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fixed air. Like kind of bouncing off of judgmental. It's also, I don't know if I have the word for it right now. Maybe it'll come to us, but it's like the system in which I view the world. I have a few, but one of them is astrology. If you don't see the world through the lens of astrology, there'll be moments where I'm like, I don't know how to engage with you. This is part of my shadow work too, is being able to talk with all people without using my system or lens as a way to communicate. So like if I'm talking to someone and they know nothing about astrology, I'm like, do I have anything to say right now? Like, what's your moon sign in? Like, it helps me process and understand the world we live in. And I can shut down if I don't have a way to communicate that is more objective or symbolic or utilizing archetypes. There's something in there with shadow work. I don't know. Is anything that I'm saying resonating with you?
Yeah, because I feel that way about tarot. I mean, kind of this touches back on what we were talking about before, but just like feeling like tarot gave me like an outlet to express myself and to connect with people, which like I need to do, and to kind of like talk to random people about meaningful things because I hate small talk, you know? So like it was like this liaison to me. And I think that's like why it opened up my life in so many ways and like opened up creative energies that I never knew that I had. But like, yeah, like it also is a crutch because like I don't know how to connect with people if I don't have that like liaison that's helping me to have like the conversation that I want to have, you know? Yeah. So also that's something that I think like it gave me a space to practice just like interacting with more people through doing readings at like public events and, you know, things like that. But yeah, I think it's a next level of mastery to talk with people who have very different views from you. Because ultimately, I think our work right now is bringing more people together from like the polar extreme, like belief system energies of like, you know, because like the divisive energy right now is super lit. Mm-hmm. So like, how do we not contribute to that? And how do we learn how to communicate in a way that brings people like more together or stops triggering these like wounds that we all have around being judged and being wrong and being punished and being kind of like, you know, all harmed in the culture that we live in. Mm-hmm. How do we not like replicate those old patterns?
Yeah. Shadow work. Going like a little bit more about like the judgmental piece too. There's something for me that I've learned as an Aquarius is when I'm having a judgment towards someone or towards myself, I take a moment of pause and I ask myself, is this my thought? Or is this somehow vibrating with the collective thought? Mm-hmm. So we can think Aquarius is connected to the internet. And when you sign on Instagram or Facebook, we're just inundated with the collective's thoughts. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes if I'm in a group of people and I'm judging someone, I'll step back and say, am I judging them or am I tuning into what the group is thinking right now? And if this is what the group is thinking, how can I take that judgment and elevate it so that it is connected with a more uniting universal truth? That's been part of my shadow work too, I think, as an Aquarius. And it has been helpful and it has allowed me to remove myself a little bit from the guilt and shame I might have as maybe feeling like a judgmental person and saying, no, this isn't truth, and stepping in really as the King of Swords, which is what I use for Aquarius fixed air, and saying, no, this is really what truth is. And I know what I stand for. So there can be like these kind of like darker voices that might come through, which allow me to really come up into my power and say, no, I know what our cosmic universal truths are.
Mm-hmm.
It is, the shadow is so airy.
I love how the Aquarian mind works, you know, just how it's like always working, like always thinking, like always. I love talking to other Aquarians, but just like seeking the truth, you know, like capital T, and like the best way that we can be to like create the world of our vision.
Mm-hmm. So it's cool that you have a dog in bed with you, because I also think for Aquarius, finding comfort in the polar sign of Leo. Leo is connected to pets and children and creative expression. And I found for me in moments where it's hard for me to connect with someone because maybe they don't have astrology or tarot as a way to view the world. If I have like a dog with me, I can connect. And I found that a lot of Aquarians like have dogs. Have you ever thought about that? How does Norton...
Actually, you're right, because I got Norton like kind of during like a really difficult time in my life where I was super isolated and not really seeing people, you know, and needing like as an Aquarius, like I need a lot of alone time, but I need a lot of like connection to, otherwise like I go to a really bad place in my mental health. But I need like meaningful connection, you know, like that feels like it matters. So he is like this liaison to people, like even I took him to the coffee shop this morning, and like, even though I wasn't really interacting with the people, he was. And so, you know, that is like a gift of a pet. It's like, as humans, like in the world, you know, we're so disconnected from each other. We don't know how to really relate sometimes. Or maybe we're like shut down and it's hard to be open, but like that is like a little gateway into connection, right? Like,
and dogs and cats are kind of like little aliens.
Yeah. I mean, there's blogs about that.
And also, like my friend Robbie, who is a Leo, swings into the Aquarian polarity a lot and loves conspiracy theories. And he's like, humans, cats, dogs are not from this planet. We like incarnated here at some point. We are all like, those energies are alien to this planet. So it's just making me think of that. So we have a question from Puppy Serum.
Speaking of puppies.
Right? Why are Aquarius called the aliens of the zodiac?
So it's a good question. I mean, why? I don't know for sure, but I would say like it really just comes down to like the culture that we live in and how it doesn't really allow space for us to be different, you know, like it, like right now, like we're talking about like spectrums of gender, spectrums of consciousness, like how like humanity like is on a spectrum, right? Like we're not all the same. We don't all think the same. We don't all talk the same, but in our culture, like we have to fit into this like heteronormative, like patriarchal, like white supremacist, like very rigid system to get by, right? And so I don't know, like I think that maybe Aquarians like can't really think inside the box. Like maybe, I don't know. I think that it's really difficult for all of us to adapt to this world that we're born into that tells us how to be, and like, you know, that like we have to figure out how to get by there. But for some reason, like I just feel like Aquarians like, it really doesn't make sense to us, you know, like, it's really hard to like feel like we are in the right place, you know, like, because like, this just isn't how we want to be existing, like, in relationship to any other living thing, you know, it's just so fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody feels like that to some degree, but maybe Aquarians are the ones that really like have to say that out loud and like, contribute to something else existing.
I kind of want to add to what you're saying, because for me, hearing what you're saying and also thinking about my experience as an Aquarius, there's this, for me, this like kind of like looking at humanity from from afar, like observing that I connect with the alien. And because of that, our ideas are out of the box of what this current culture is, because Aquarius wants to see beyond current culture. And it makes me think of a lot of legendary Aquariuses who like, for instance, Queen of Aquarius, Oprah, has many times been on those, what are those magazines called at the grocery store in the checkout line? Like the
Oprah magazine?
Not the Oprah magazine, like the ones that have like all the kind of like trashy celebrity updates.
Yeah.
What is it?
The tabloids?
Tabloids. She'll be on the cover of tabloids saying like, Oprah's like alien. She's like leading like a new race. It's like something about Aquariuses and the information that they're sharing with people. And for Oprah to have a TV show, which it is connected to technology and is inundating the collective with these new Aquarian ways of being, because a lot of her ideas, her actual TV show now might not seem futuristic to us, but at the time she was really radical in the things that she was bringing up on TV. Mm-hmm. She also has her Uranus in Cancer, which is innovation for home and mothers. And it makes me think of my mother, who watched Oprah and learned all these radical new ideas from her. But anyway.
Well, and she was a Black woman, like in a high profile, huge platform, like, and that was radical for the times, because like in those times, like all of the talk show hosts were white people, especially white men. So
yes,
she totally like blasted a path in an industry that was like very much dominated by white men.
Yes.
It still is.
And then came along Ellen DeGeneres, who is a voice for lesbians as well. Like there's something with both of them as Aquarians, and both of them have been accused of being aliens. Like you can just Google Ellen or Oprah and alien, and there's like tabloids show up.
I think about also like how we talk about illegal aliens, like that is a word that, you know, like the ruling elite regime, fascist tyrant dictators, like say they call like refugees, like who are trying to go from one unsafe place to a safe place. We call them aliens. We call them like dangerous, you know? So it's interesting to look at the language that we use to like describe like just humans
who are dangerous, who have like dangerous thoughts that are different.
Also like Angela Davis is like a radical.
Just came to mind when you were saying that. Yeah.
Who also, if people don't know like who Angela Davis is, like go and look her up and read what she's done and what she's doing now. But
total alien.
Just radical, or just like a radical human, you know? I was listening to the Embodied Astrology podcast a little bit last night and I fell asleep, but she was has a really good episode on Aquarius, Martin Luther King. He was a Capricorn, but his Mercury was an Aquarius. Yes. So just like his way of like his vision, his big picture, the way that like he could like communicate about the fabric of reality, and just like these concepts that like nobody else could articulate in such a beautiful way, and just how we think and like how we see the world, and how we're so passionate about like trying to communicate that point of view, because we're trying to make it better here, right? Yeah. Ultimately.
Which brings us to this next question. I think this is a cool, like thinking about Angela Davis, thinking about Martin Luther King Jr., also Oprah. This is from Vagabond Spirit. What are your ideas on how Saturn as traditional ruler of Aquarius influences this sign? Which also other people were asking about Uranus too. And I don't know, any thoughts on Saturn and Uranus as an Aquarius?
I guess like when I think about Saturn and how it like the work that I have to do with it personally, it's really about like creating boundaries and structure that like help me do this very big work, you know, whatever it is. And then I don't know, like I'm less familiar with the planets specifically, but Uranus like really just sparks this like radical, like revolutionary, like ideals that like I just have always felt myself like resonating with before I had any people around me to like kind of influence me in that way. Like it was just a part of me. So I totally lost track with what the question was.
Which is the importance of Saturn, right? And like if Uranus is just like sparking off, there's no container for it. It's making me think of fixed as Saturn and air as Uranus. It's like kind of contradictory to think of like fixed air. But at the same time, Saturn, like if we think of Oprah as an example, Uranian in that she is delivering new innovative ways of seeing the world, Uranus. Saturn, though, is the commitment to create a system or a structure for that to come through. And I really think that for Aquarius, it's finding the balance between these two energies. When we think of Uranus and the tarot, it's the Fool. And so there might be Aquarians who are more Uranian, and I know quite a few. I've been there at many times in my life, but I do know the past few years as Saturn has been in Capricorn, that's been feeling more dominant because Saturn is at home in Capricorn. And I think that as Saturn enters Aquarius, we're all going to feel a shift to be a little bit more lighters, but particularly those who are resonating with Aquarian frequencies. But Saturn in Capricorn has been pretty dominating for all of us. It's been a heavy few years.
Sure has.
So we can also look to Saturn and Uranus in our own chart, but also see where it is in the sky at this time to kind of get an idea of themes that we might be moving through. Mm-hmm. And I've been saying the last year, I'm like, I want to get back to my Fool Aquarius. I've felt more like King of Swords, which feels more of like the Saturnian side of Aquarius.
Yeah.
Okay. We went over time, which is totally fine with me. How are you doing?
I'm ready to go all night.
Okay, so let's do, this is a really nice one. And of course it comes from Angela Mary Magic.
Angela Mary Magic.
Who's bringing us our, you know, is reflecting back to us this very Libra quality that Angela has here of Aquarians are a big fave for me. How do you best like to be supported?
I answered like that question on your stories like 10 times.
I saw, I have them. I'll read some of them. Full-Time Witch says, match me with a wealthy benefactor so I can work for free. Call me every day. Put my clothes away so I can continue receiving transmissions from the future. Please feed the Aquarians.
Yeah. In a nutshell.
Feed me, feed me. So this is the square, the Taurus square. Mm-hmm. Aquarius is learning about Taurus themes. I can forget to eat sometimes if I'm like overworking myself, or, you know, just off in my Aquarian blunder. Put my clothes away so I can continue receiving transmissions. Yes.
That was like one of the first, well, I don't think it was the first podcast, but you were talking about like not putting your clothes away. I was listening to your podcast and I was like literally walking around my room and it was just like, there was like clothes everywhere. And you were like, I can't. It was just so funny. I think I made a video of it and like posted it on my Instagram. Because you were like, I will put my clothes away later. Like, but first I have to receive these downloads.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, it makes me laugh. Because it's true.
Here's what some of other people in the community said. This one's from Alicia, our Aquarian sister. Accept our expansive love and know that it's real, even though we're all wary of love.
I love her. She's such a force of love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Accept our expansive love. That's big. That's the thing is I think oftentimes Aquarius is said to be emotionless or like cold in emotions. Mm-hmm. But it's important for us to remember that all astrological signs are deeply emotional. We just have different ways of expressing it. And for me as an Aquarius, I do know that I'm deeply emotional. And so for me, it sometimes helps me to kind of step back and give myself space, right, to process my emotions. And this is what Emma wrote in, our Aquarius sister. Space and patience. I need room to really think through my thoughts before I share them. And then someone else, Nox Tarot, said, give us the space to grow. So a lot of these things that are coming through, another person says, patience and presence, sometimes quiet. I'm feeling the star card energy coming in. This is like the self-care side of Aquarius is like, you know, I think of the star card. If we were to create a room that was a star card, it would be like sound bowls playing, people giving Reiki. It's a very like soothing energy that I need as an Aquarius. And we think the star card that's what I would call soul growth for Aquarius.
An all you can eat buffet of like healthy foods.
Yes. And like making eye contact with people, but maybe not even saying anything, just kind of being in each other's presence. I think it feels really nice for me. Like if I can be with someone and just like hang out and not feel like I have to talk, although I probably will want to talk. Pay close attention to our nonverbal and verbal cues. That one's interesting. By being given space and open-minded dialogue. Pagan Pizza Party says, don't call us robots for thinking through feelings before feeling them outright. So there's a lot of like overlap with these, but that's how you can better support an Aquarius. Thank you for that question. Let's do one more. Maybe two more, because I don't know if this is the one we want to end on, but I think it's a great question because you're an Aquarius sun with a Scorpio moon. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is from Priestess of Grace. Maybe it's me, but I often confuse Scorpios for Aquarius and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Yet they are maybe not compatible. Why do they sometimes seem so similar despite such differences?
I think I didn't know I had a Scorpio moon until I was 27 or 28. But like, I feel like they are both so deep and passionate. And they also like, there's so much going on, like that's intense. And like, I maybe like a lot of like internal process happening like in their own experience. Like, I don't know. That's a hard one to like say for sure for me, but and I've never really thought about like Aquarians and Scorpios feeling similar, although I do love Scorpios and I really connect with them.
Same. I actually Priestess of Grace says they may not be that compatible, but I actually have so many Scorpio friends. It's actually one of my most compatible signs, I think, as an Aquarius. And I think that the commonality that links us is the fixed modality, the fixed water and fixed air, that there is an intensity to our process. And I think as water bearers, Aquarius is helping to uplift Scorpio with their ideas and reflect back to them their innate genius. And Scorpio is helping Aquarius to dig deeper into the subconscious and to bring psychological healing to their processes, so they're not just like floating away.
Yeah, I think of Aquarius as being like a satellite and Scorpio as being like a submarine, you know, like Aquarius is like has that perspective from like outer space, and Scorpio has the perspective from like the ocean floor, you know? So from
and
like
there's aliens down there too.
There sure are.
And it makes me think of Bjork, who feels very Aquarian, but is triple Scorpio. Mm-hmm. But when we look at her chart, she has Uranus on her midheaven. So there is this sort of resonance between these two energies.
Well, everyone always says Aquarians are weird and Scorpios are weird too, right? A little freaky. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My friend said this to me recently, which was kind of eye-opening to me, because I had never thought about this as being connected to my Aquarian ways. But he said something like, well, you know, Aquarians like to wear all black. And I was like, I thought that was like a Scorpio thing. Like I had always attributed that to Scorpio or like my Scorpio midheaven. I didn't really know. And he's like, no, pay attention to it. Aquarius is wear all black. And I was like, I started thinking of my Aquarian friends, and a lot of them wear all black, or it's like wearing like black with black boots, and then like a lot's colors, like crazy kind of kooky colors too at the same time. Like there's kind of a mix, but there is a little like punk edge to Aquarius, I think.
Well, also everyone wears all black now.
It is the age of Aquarius after all.
I didn't always wear all black. Like there was a time where I started wearing all black, and like I remember like thinking about like, oh, I want to start wearing all black, and then all of a sudden like it just I don't know if it'll ever change, but
it makes me think of like, I don't know, like Angela Davis has this sort of radical punk side that could, like, if I found out she was a Scorpio, I might be like, oh, okay, cool. You know, there's like, there is an intensity, and all the fixed signs have the intensity for sure. But Leo and Taurus, on the other hand, might actually have that same sort of connection that Scorpio and Aquarius have, where Taurus and Leo are both connected more to their creative expression and their five senses. So fixed family. Let's do one final question. From Gnome Friends. Gnome Friends writes in, what really gets an Aquarius going? What is Aquarius passionate about?
Everything that we've been talking about over the last few 22 minutes or whatever. But like, you know, I'm really passionate about liberation, you know, just like period.
Yeah. I'm passionate about bringing people together in a circle for a joint cause, or for like forming some sort of collective intention, like with Zodiac Emoji right now, even though it might feel like really, I don't know, like to some people it might feel reductive, to other people it might feel like a little like random or quirky even. I'm passionate about it. I'm like, I want to know, like, do you think that the UFO or the shooting star feels more Aquarian? And I'm like really passionate about it right now because I want to know. I'm just curious. And it wouldn't be the thing that it is if it wasn't for gauging the collective's response to it. It's something with community is always there.
I was just thinking about communication. Maybe we're really passionate about like communication. Like communication is how we as like, I say like, you know, we're having an embodied experience of separation. And like part of what we're doing, like trying to do on the planet is figure out like how to survive here together, you know, how to coexist. And like in these times where like it's do or die, you know, like we're in very precarious times, like I'm pretty passionate about, you know, like how can we do as much as we can to make it better? Like all my life, I've wanted to contribute to making the world a better place and to helping people, you know, and I think that Aquarians are really passionate about ideas and ideals and and sharing a lot of information, you know, like with the emoji thing and with like the Queen of the Zodiac thing and like all of the ways that you're using like symbols that, you know, archetypes that communicate ideas that can convey a lot of information like at once in like a micro dose, you know, because it's stimulating learning, right? And like growth and I don't know, just engaging our minds in ways that like when have we ever been given like opportunities to really engage like in these different parts of our beings, you know?
And when have we ever been gifted the opportunity to have over 100 emojis on a screen that we can send to another person? This is the first time ever that we know of in humanity's history or herstory that we've had access to these little tiny little symbols. And I think I'm also passionate, and I would think that all Aquariuses are passionate about finding the deeper meaning in the world around us.
Emojis are fun. Like I was really resistant to getting an iPhone. I got my first iPhone in like 2011, 2012. Like I had my cell phone. It was a flip phone. Like I was really resistant to get a cell phone. I didn't get a cell phone until 2008. Like I think I was pretty late in the game.
Late.
Yeah. So like, but the thing that made me be like, okay, like all like I had to get an iPhone because like you pretty much couldn't get flip phones anymore by 2011. So I was like, well, emojis, okay.
I'll do it for the emoji.
Yeah, because I was like, I felt like FOMO that I couldn't use emojis, you know, that's why I update my operating system is to get the new emojis. Yeah.
Hell yes. Get those new emojis. They're getting more progressive by the day. We got non-binary emojis. We got biracial emojis.
Radical, you know, artificial limbs, like you said, was like probably that was the one you were rooting for. I didn't even know that existed. So
it's just continuing to evolve with us. And so to those listening, to our Mercuries in Aquarius, to our Jupiters in Aquarius, if we've got any like Pluto in Aquarius out there, that would be amazing. If you're a Pluto in Aquarius, say what's up, because that means
have they not been born yet?
But maybe they're listening.
Okay. Because it's the future?
Yeah, I don't know. If you're out there, Pluto in Aquarius, let us know. Or we got Saturn in Aquarius coming up. A lot of people are writing in their Saturn returns coming up here in the next 3 years. If you're Saturn in Aquarius. Yeah, Neptune in Aquarius would be cool if there's any Neptune in Aquarius is listening. I think that's what I meant to say. But I just kind of went with Pluto in Aquarius. But Neptune in Aquarius is when the internet was born. It was like 1995 to like 2011. I'll double check. I'll fact check on that. But it was something around that period of time.
Or if you're a strength life card, then your the star is in your life card constellation.
Because we got strength is number 8, the star is 17. And so that's making me think about you, Erin, and the way that you are radically upgrading our understanding of archetypes through your work with tarot birth cards. So I would love for you to just share with everyone a little bit about the work that you do with tarot birth cards and giving us a little taste of your Aquarian magic.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I have been working with tarot birth cards since my first tarot book taught me how to calculate my life cards, which are the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune. And they didn't really connect or make sense with me then. I don't think I had ever pulled those cards and I didn't relate. And my journey with tarot is like, I guess, 12 years old now this year. And every year it evolves and it grows and it deepens, and I will be always learning from the cards, from how I live them and how I experience the archetypes coming to life in the world around me. So like the way that I most connect with them is through how they're expressed and like the people around me, you know? So I'm obsessed with looking up people's life and year cards. And so it was only like a natural thing for me to decide that I didn't want to do readings that didn't involve going more in depth with people's life and year cards. And so I created my Cycles of Evolution offering last year, and have just been kind of like cultivating and crafting that the content that kind of like eventually I will, you know, turn it into a book or something, but it's still very much like coming through me to be written in words. But yeah, for people that are interested in really connecting with the fixed archetypes that you're, you know, like is your personal life card, your year card. That's pretty much what I do. And I also have a Cycles of Evolution workbook that focuses on kind of working through the decade of 2010 to 2020 to understand like the archetypes that we were moving through as a collective and as individuals, because basically like when I work with the fixed archetypes, it's just like downloads. Like I don't need to draw any cards because there's so much information coming through like the singular ones, you know,
right,
that like I have to process. And I feel like when I draw cards like intuitively, I just get confused right now. Yeah. So
we're like, similar in that way where I don't really work with the minor that much. I work with the majors and the court cards because there's so much archetype in those cards. I do work with the minor, but similar to you, it's like I focus more on this like fixed archetypes of the majors.
Yeah, I think that we are similar in the way that like, I mean, in my life readings, like, and I talk about the whole constellation, you know, so it's like, if you're a Hierophant, like I'm going to include the fives, you know.
I'm a Hierophant.
Mm-hmm. You are. And like as the Wheel of Fortune magician, like I think about the tens and the aces, you know, like, and those help me with my day to day. But yeah, I really love doing this work, and I do have a discount code on lifetime readings for $33 off through January. So if people want to book now, use code Aquarius and get a discount.
Boom, boom, boom. And this Aquarius New Moon, the first new moon of this decade, could be a great time to realign yourself with this Aquarian offer.
Get the downloads.
Get the downloads. Okay. This has been really great. I'm so grateful to you, Erin, for the work that you put in the world and for your willingness to show up so spontaneously. And
I love it.
thank you so much for being here with us. We love everyone that's listening so much. And
yeah, we love you.
We're giving you a big Aquarius hug from the internet.
Everybody, we're having a party and everyone's invited.
Everyone, bring a friend. Happy Aquarius New Moon to all of you. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like, you could leave some comments and love. You can go to astrologycousins.com to book a reading. Follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on all the things. All the links are up in the show notes. Take sweet care, cousins. And remember, deep breaths.